Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, it's the world away. We now got part 25 of Hachette Partworks Build the Terminator. We've got a little bit of a challenge in this one. For a long time we haven't had any sprues, and then two come along at once. They're like buses. Let's just show you what sort of parts we've got. This is the actual collection here. Look at all the things in there. There's tons of them, which means we're going to need our trusty sprue cutters for this issue. We're also going to need some parts from old issues. This came in the last issue. This one here, actually the one before last, is this piece that came in the last issue. Going to need this bit here, and we're also going to need the shoulder joint that we was assembling before. So you need to get them to hand, and this is pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to cut these parts off the sprues, but I'm going to do it one at a time because I need to know exactly where they go. We're going to need glue and our little cocktail sticks because we're going to glue in some pieces. There's a lot of fine detail going on to this, right onto the shoulder joint here. Putting a spring in there to add some resistance so when this turns, because obviously it's going to be holding the weight of an arm on there. And then when it's finished, we're going to have this little contraption here. There's a little piece here, as you can see here, 52.2, which isn't used at all either. And in the next issue, you see, we're going to collect the left shoulder, and we're going to install the right elbow. So quite a lot to do, but issue 26 might be a bit of a problem, and it might hold up this build because it wasn't in the newsagents last week. I have heard that people have been having problems getting hold of issue 26, so something about a printing error or a printing run. So I am going to keep my fingers crossed for that. If I don't and issue 27 comes out, I'm going to have to source issue 26, which might make these videos late. But I'll let you know that as soon as I know, because I know I'm slightly ahead, I think, of the subscribers at the moment. But this is the state of play if you're buying it retail. Anyway, without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, I'm just taking out everything that I know we've got in this issue. So we've got these two sprues, looking like that, and this one here. As mentioned earlier, this piece here is not used in this part, so we can put that to one side. And we've got a bag of screws here, and inside these screws we've got 3 times 8mm screws, 3 times 8mm screws, and 4 times 3 times 6mm screws. So there's 2 lots of screws in there, but we'll get to that when we actually come to fit them. The first thing we've got to do is we've got to take a sprue piece off. Now the pieces that it wants to take off are this bit here, looking just like that, and the piece below it. So let's get our sprue cutters on that and get that cut off now. Now once again, with sprue cutters, I've got my link. Every time I use sprue cutters, I put my link down here. But you put the flat edge against the actual detail you want to keep, and that ensures a lovely straight cut. And if I can just show you that on a close-up, it means pretty much no filing at all. See that? And obviously you don't want to be filing this, because I'm sure if you file underneath that, you're going to get it's going to spoil that sort of chromish finish. So you don't want that. And we're just going to take this piece off as well. A little bit tricky, these bigger pieces, but it's just trying to find the best area that you can cut them. That's the fun bit about sprues. But believe me, after a while, they give you a headache. Okay, so we've got these 2 pieces off now, and then all it wants us to do is push this bit into this bit like so. And it tells us to identify the seam, this bit here, and the foot, which is this bit here. Now once that's in there, as you noticed, I haven't glued it. This can actually just freely fall out. You can probably pry it out with your fingers. There is a reason for that. Is because when this goes into the next piece that you're going to see later on, this bit's actually going to be held flush to it. That's why we haven't got to glue it. So just for the minute, we're going to put that to one side. The next picture you can see on the screen here is going to identify all the parts of the sprues and give them numbers. That's going to help us to identify where they're going next. So the piece I was talking about was this shoulder joint here. And I'm going to hold it round so it's facing me with this little section detail here facing my left side. To you, this is going to look like it's facing your right, I guess, because I've got the camera the other way around. And all we're going to do is the part that we had, as you see, we've got the seam side, we've got a sign without a seam. We want to put it in here with the seam side facing down. So it's going to go in this way here. I'm going to push that down, just like that. And then holding it up to the camera, that's exactly as it's going to look. And there you can see why we didn't have to glue this piece, because it's held in from the other side there. Pretty cool. Okay, the next detail we need is detail B. Now, out of these 2 that look very similar, detail B is the one that's the taller of the 2, not the shorter one. So we've got to cut off this one here. Just like that. And again on the other side. Perfecto. And now that's cut off, we're going to be turning our attention to this slot just here, because this is where detail B is going to go. And quite simply, all we're going to do is just put it in there just like that. So as you can see, we've got now 2 details in that shoulder joint. Now it does want us to put some super glue in that, but that's been held in super tight, so I'm not going to do that. But if your one is loose, it does say to put a bit of super glue in. As a matter of fact, all of these parts now, it does tell us just to put a dab of super glue on them. Now the next part we got is part C, and that's looking like this, both sides here. So I'm going to cut that off now. This is where models come into their own, because seeing the detail on some of these, absolutely amazing. Now that bit's off, it'll only let you put it in one way. As you see, if I try to put it in that way, it's just not going to fit. So you just turn it around and put it in the way so it just slots in. It does say to put a bit of glue on this one, so I am going to take their advice on this one, because this is loose on my one, and put a bit of glue on it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch some glue inside here, so that when we push this foot in, it's only going to make contact and glue the parts which this plastic, because these are plastic, touches. So that's going to go in just like that. So at the moment, this is how it looks. And we're going to work on the next detail. Now the next detail, detail D, is the smaller one of those ones that look like B. So we're going to cut this one off. Make sure got that nice and tight. You will find that I go quiet when I'm cutting, because I'm concentrating. Okay, this one's going to be going in just like this. And once again, when we put it in, we want to make sure it's facing the right way. I don't know if this one's going to let you put it in the wrong way. It won't. So it can only let you put it in one way, just like that. So again, they want us to put glue on this. So once again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just on the inside here, so I can ensure that I'm only gluing areas which are going to touch and keep this held into place. This is actually quite a big detail that's going in here. It's bigger than it looks. So put that in, and then we're going to put that in like that. That's going to hold lovely. So now, show you on the top camera, it's looking like that. And then the last detail we've got, which is detail E, is just this final piece here, looking like that. So let's get these cut off. Just like that. And for your benefit and my benefit, as you can see, the sprue is now empty and I'm throwing it away. I've got this habit of throwing details that I actually need. And all we're going to do with this one, it's going to go into the last place. Again, I'm just going to check if it's got a direction that it needs to go in. As a matter of fact, you can put it in any single way you want. But once again, it does want this glued. So when I put these in, I'm going to put some glue again. Just on the sides here and here, and then just a little bit of glue just on the back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what side looks the worst, probably that one, and make that one face down. So that's going to go in just like that. And there we go. We have that part now fully completed. Now for the next bit, we've got 2 sets of screws here. We've got the 6mm screws and the 8mm screws. For this piece, for part we're going to be putting in, we only need the 6mm, which are the smaller screws, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting the spring in here, just like that, holding in place. That was a simple part, wasn't it? And then we're going to be putting the piece that we had in the last issue just over the top of it. Now, when we line this up, we want to line it up so that the holes in this, the 3 holes you see there, are going to match these 3 holes here. So this is going to be quite tricky, I'm guessing. The way they've got it is, as you can see, there is a detail on here. They've got this detail here, which sort of bleeds from the middle there, facing that last piece E that we put in. So when I put this on, I'm going to match it up with my eyes, just like that. And we're going to have that on there. Now this is going to be pretty tough, because when it's in, it's going to provide a hell of a lot of resistance. So I am now holding that down with full force, frantically trying to scramble to get a screw so we can put one of these 3 times 6mm screws in. So we'll get the first one in now. Sorry, I may be rushing this, but believe me, that takes some pressure. Just 1 screw is enough to hold that, and then we're going to be putting in the other 2. But wow, that was interesting. That is going to provide an awesome, simply awesome amount of friction to that. I'm going to see what it looks like in a minute once I've got this last screw in. I was pretty impressed with that. So there we go. As you can see, it's got an awesome amount of resistance. As I said, if I push that down, you You can just see how much resistance it's got when it needs to turn. Look. Wow. That's excellent. I love that. Okay, nice bit of engineering there, I have to say. Right, next bit. We're going to go back to the sprues now, and we've got this other sprue which has got 2 details on it. I'm going to cut both of those details off now. We've got the first one here, which I'm just a bit tricky to find out where to cut that. But there we go, I've cut that. That's just come off in one cut. And then we've got sort of like a pipe just coming off as well, and that's going to come off with 2 cuts. Once again, showing the camera, this sprue is empty, so I'm allowed to throw it away. I don't want to get myself into the mess I've done way before. Now what it wants us to do, we're going back to the glue again, and we're going to be putting some glue just on these points here underneath the part that we just cut off. So I've got my little cocktail stick. The reason we're putting glue on that is because when we bring over this piece again, do you remember I said that section that was bleeding out there? This bit is actually going to go on that section. So I'm going to put that in just like that and hold it into place. And when that's held into place, as you can see, that bit's fully completed. Now we're going to take this very large section here from part 23, and this is quite simply just going to go into these 2 holes here. And as you can see, we've got a guide hole at the top there, which is going to take that lug there. So we can only put this in one way. And then we're going to secure it with 2 screws, the 8mm screws just down there, which means your screwdriver is going to need to be really long to get that in there. So I've got my wearer screwdriver here. Once again, if you went to my Amazon store for the sprues earlier on, these screwdrivers are also in the Amazon store. So you can get yourself one. But these fit absolutely perfectly. So I'm just going to put the second one in now. Just like that. Nice and tight. And there we go. We've got the 2 screws in there. Show you that on the close-up camera actually. And then the last thing we've got to do is just put this last detail in, which is looking like the pipe there. And this piece is just going to go onto the shoulder joint here. As you can see, we've got a hole there, and it's going to be pointing backwards towards the actual joint. Doesn't matter which section it is, because obviously this turns around, but as long as that is in line with the rest of it, you can't go too far wrong. Now I have got some glue just ready here now, so I'm just going to glue that into place. Make sure, and it should look just like that. It will only let you put it in one way anyway. But that is now the completed shoulder joint. And I tell you now, that is heavy. All of this is metal. Obviously, all the details we just put on a plastic, but all the rest is metal. You've just seen how it articulates and moves. This is going to be one heavy android, that's for sure. That's all there is to it. So that is that issue. As I said, we're going to be continuing with the left shoulder in the next issue, but I'm not sure when that's coming. So if you don't see a Terminator video for a while, the reasons why is because there's printing issues. But hopefully that's all resolved by the time the subscribers get theirs. If you like that video, please remember to give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe, and if you haven't clicked that notification bar, click the notification bell and you'll get notified every time a new video's up. Other than that, take care. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please remember to give it a like, and if you haven't done so already, please remember to subscribe. Take care.